الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Before we begin today's talk, I just want to remind our brothers and sisters that in last Friday's sermon, we mentioned the persecution that our brothers and sisters in Malaysia are facing from the authorities over there, simply on account of being Shia and on account of commemorating the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. We said it was very important that we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters, that we lend our support to them, and we demonstrate to the authorities in Malaysia our displeasure, and we deplore what they have done. One of the best ways of doing that, or one of the ways of doing that, we said was to write a letter to the Malaysian consulate here in Vancouver. And Alhamdulillah, the Zahraa humanitarian group has developed a letter which they will be passing around today. So I ask you, brothers and sisters, that you read the letter as they are coming around to you. And then, after reading the letter, that you sign these letters, so that we show the authorities in Malaysia that not only do people around, like everybody around the world deplores these actions, they are displeased with these actions, including our community here in Vancouver. Inshallah, Brother Muhammad Mustafa Rashid will be coming around in the gents side, and Sister Fatima Zahraa Rashid and Sister Tahira Rashid will be coming around in the ladies side. I hope you will lend them your support. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
On the evening after the day of Ashura, the soldiers of Umar ibn Sa'ad entered and looted and burned the tents of the family of Imam al-Hussain. For as long as the Imam was alive, they would not enter the tents of the family of the Imam. In fact, we're told on the afternoon of Ashura, when Imam al-Hussain was fighting alone on the plains of Karbala, there was a time when the soldiers of Umar ibn Sa'ad, 4,000 strong, came between him and his tent. And when Imam saw this, he became very agitated. And he turned to them and he said these famous words, Ya Shi'ata Ali Abi Sufyan, O the followers of the Al of Abu Sufyan, Illam yakul lakum deenun, if you have no faith, if you have no deen, wa kuntum la takhafun al-ma'ad, and you don't fear that there will come a day when you will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be answerable for what you do in this world, then at least what we ask from you is kunu ahraran fi dunya, be free people in this world. The least we can ask of you is that you don't act according to your whims, that at least you be free people in this world. And therefore, as long as Imam al-Hussain was alive, they did not enter the tents of the family of Imam al-Hussain. But on that evening after Imam al-Hussain was killed, history narrates that they entered and they burnt and they looted and they brutally tyrannized the family of the Holy Imam. During that period, Tabari in his Tarikh al-Rusul wal-Muluk narrates on the authority of Abu Mikhnaf, who narrates from Sulaiman ibn Abi Rashid, who narrates from Hamid ibn Muslim. So if you remember, we say that sometimes Abu Mikhnaf narrated directly from people who are in Karbala, sometimes he narrated through one person. In this case, he is narrating through one person, who narrates from Hamid ibn Muslim, who says, انتهيت إلى علي بن الحسين بن علي الأصغر. I ended up at the tent of Ali, the son of Imam al-Hussain, the son of Imam Ali. Then he refers to him as al-Asghar. وهو منبسط على فراش. He was lying stretched out on a bed. وهو مريض, and he was sick on that day. وإذا شمر بن ذي الجوشن في رجاله معه يقولون ألا نقتل هذا. Suddenly Shimr entered his tent along with some of his soldiers, and he said, should we not kill this man? Should we not kill this person? So Hamid ibn Muslim says, I started to argue with Shimr, and I say to him, Subhanallah, glory belongs to Allah. أَنَقْتُلُ الصَّبْيَانِ. Have we started killing children? إنما هذا صبي, this is a child. قال فما زال ذلك دأبي أدفع عنه كل من جاء حتى جاء عمر بن سعد. I continued to do this every time somebody would come to kill Imam al-Sajjad. I would continue to defend him until Umar ibn Sa'd came in, and Umar ibn Sa'd agreed that they would not kill Imam al-Sajjad. Now this narration is strange for two reasons. The first reason this narration is strange is because he refers to Imam al-Sajjad as Ali al-Asghar. We said earlier that Imam had three Alis. Ali al-Akbar, who was killed on the plains of Karbala, Ali al-Asghar, who was in his arms and he was killed on the plains of Karbala, and Ali al-Awsat, which is Imam al-Sajjad. But this narrator refers to him as Ali al-Asghar. We can explain that though. Maybe he is contrasting him to Ali al-Akbar. That was the Ali that was older. This is the Ali which is younger. And in the eyes of this narrator, the child that was killed in the arms of Imam al-Hussain was not named Ali. He was named Abdullah. There are some books of history which refer to him as Abdullah, the son of Imam al-Hussain. The other reason why this narration is strange is because he refers to Imam al-Sajjad as a Sabi. The word Sabi in Arabic is used to refer to somebody who has not reached the age of bulugh. Raghib al-Isfahani in his Mufradat, he says, As-Sabi man lam yablugh al-hulum. Sabi is a person who hasn't reached the age of bulugh. But we know Imam al-Sajjad, unanimously, all the historians mention, he was born in the year 37 or 38 after Hijrah, meaning on the plains of Karbala, on the day of Ashura, he would have been 22 to 23 years of age. It would be strange to refer to him as a Sabi. But it's possible when Hamid ibn Muslim was trying to convince the soldiers of Umar ibn Sa'd not to kill Imam al-Sajjad, he told them, but he's only a child. How can you kill a child? And making him think that he was a child is what averted them from killing Imam al-Sajjad. In any case, what is clear from this narration is that the Imam was sick on the day of Ashura. He was sick in the plains of Karbala. In fact, in some of the versions of the same narration, Hamid ibn Muslim says, what is wrong with you, Shimr? Do you even kill people who are sick? He's sick, he can't fight you. How dare you kill him? Right? Now, a question that arises is, what was the cause of his sickness? What caused Imam al-Sajjad to become sick on the day of Ashura? Now, we know this was something planned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Out of his wisdom, he wanted the Imam to remain alive. And that would mean that Imam al-Sajjad would not go into the battlefield. But what caused the sickness? Sheikh Abbas al-Qumi narrates from Ibn Shahr Ashub, who states that what caused the sickness was that the Imam had a very long armor. And he wanted to clip or remove a part of his armor. So he used his bare hands to break the armor or to clip the end of the armor. When he did that, he injured himself. And it seems that the open wound might have caused the Imam to contract an infection, whereby he got a fever and he became severely sick. So therefore it's clear that the Imam was sick in a part of the journey. Somewhere leading towards Karbala, he became sick. On the day of Ashura, he was sick. We also know that when he entered the city of Kufa, the Imam was sick as well. But after that, he regained his health. For the rest of his life, he led a very healthy lifestyle. But unfortunately, it is common in Iranian culture and also in the Indo-Pak culture to refer to this Imam as the Imam-e-Bimar. Abideen-Bimar, the sick Imam, the Imam who was ill. In fact, Shiekh Murtaza Bachoo, in one of his books, he says that it's only us, the Iranians, perhaps they didn't know about Indo-Pak culture, who refer to the Imam as the Imam-e-Bimar, the Imam who was sick. In fact, the Arabs don't refer to him as the Imam who was sick. You don't see the Arabs saying Al-Imam al-Marid in any of the books of history. In fact, he says that in Iranian culture, when somebody becomes very sick, to the extent that they cannot move, they say he's become like Imam al-Sajjad, for example. To that extent. Right? Whereas Shiekh Murtaza says, yes, he was sick on the day of Ashura, but that doesn't mean for the rest of his life he was sick. That doesn't mean for the rest of his life he was walking with a staff. That doesn't mean for the rest of his life he was walking with a bent back. Imam was healthy for the rest of his life. Now this naming convention is very important because it has a psychological effect on us. We start envisioning a character of the Imam that does not resemble his historical character. his real personality. We think of him as a person who was frail and fragile and always sick. Right? And as William Chittick would say, it creates a divide or a gap between historical Sajjad, Imam Sajjad, and the Sajjad that is popular in Shia culture. The fact is that Imam Sajjad was as fierce and as courageous as his father. He had the deep insights and vision and wisdom into the political scene of that day and age. He could read the plots of the Umayyads. He knew what they were up to. And he devised a scheme in chains. In chains, he devised a scheme that would lead to the end of the Umayyad army. That would lead to the end of the Umayyad Caliphate. And his battle began the first day he entered the city of Kufa. So the battle of Imam al-Hussain was in the plains of Karbala. But the battle of Imam al-Sajjad begins the day he enters the city of Kufa. But let me first tell you about the city of Kufa. On the day of Ashura, the soldiers of Yazid from Sham and the soldiers of Yazid from Kufa fought side by side against the army of Imam al-Hussain. But even though they fought side by side, they came from two different backgrounds, two different identities, two different histories. In the year 35 after Hijrah, the people gave the Khilafah to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He was always the Khalif. But they gave the Khilafah to Imam Ali alayhi salam. And the first problem that he had to undertake was to fight the Nakithin. Nakithin were people who broke their pledge to Imam Ali. They paid allegiance to Imam and then they broke their allegiance. People like Talha and Zubayr and Aisha who had pledged allegiance to Imam Ali now wanted to fight Imam Ali in the Battle of Jamal. Now, their support came from Basra. So they were holed up in Basra. Imam Ali, his capital was in the city of Medina at that time. So he gathered support, but he got very little support from Medina. Only some of the Ansar joined him to go and fight against the people in the Battle of Jamal. But as he is going towards Basra, he sends out people to recruit more followers, more fighters. Of all the people, of all the cities, the people of Kufa answer his call. Not the people of Yemen, not Medina, not Makkah, not Egypt, not Basra, the people of Kufa answer his call. And because of their support, partly because of their support, he's able to win the Battle of Jamal. So important was their support of the people of Kufa that after the Battle of Jamal, Imam Ali moves his capital city from Medina to Kufa. Okay? We have to know the history of the people of Kufa. We think of them as betrayers, but at some point they had a very deep connection with the Ahlul Bayt. In fact, during the reign of Muawiyah and the life of Imam al-Hussain, after Imam al-Hassan had passed away, Muawiyah started to break many of the conditions of the peace treaty that he signed with Imam al-Hassan. For example, he killed Hujr ibn Adi. Hujr ibn Adi was a fierce, loyal supporter of Imam Ali. He was a person from the city of Kufa. He went once to Sham, Muawiyah assassinated him. So the people of Kufa write to Imam al-Hussain. It's important, of all the people, we should not see the people of Kufa in a vacuum. Of all the people in the Muslim Empire, the people of Kufa write a letter to Imam al-Hussain, come and join us, lead us, let's fight against Muawiyah, he's breaking the peace treaty. Imam says no. When Muawiyah passes away, and he puts Yazid in his place, which is the beginning of dynasties within Islam, Imam al-Hussain says, this cannot be happening. And again, it's the people of Kufa who write to him, and they say, come to us. So clearly the people of Kufa had a strong relationship with the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And when they invited the Ahlul Bayt, they were sincere in their invitation. Yes, they failed to follow through, that is true. So when Imam Sajjad enters the city of Kufa, he's very well aware of this. He knows the people he's talking to have a deep affection for the Ahlul Bayt. He knows these are people who genuinely had invited Imam al-Hussain, but they failed to follow through. And now something very tragic had happened. Something very uncomfortable had happened. Now, Sigmund Freud, a psychologist of the late 20th century, he says that sometimes when a person is faced with a fact that is very uncomfortable, instead of accepting it, he rejects it. He rejects that fact. And he says he